Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to read class 7th SST Geography, chapter number 4 External Processes and Changing Landform, part 3. So, in the previous video, I had explained about the different landforms which is made by the river and the glaciers. So, in this topic, we'll discuss about the landforms which is formed by the wind. Means how the wind help us to form the different landforms. So, the role of the wind is it is in altering the landscape is particularly noticeable in desert. So whatever the landform is, it is being formed by the wind, that is almost visible in the desert areas or the dry or the arid areas where the sand can move. So when the wind blows freely in the sandy areas or the desert areas, so they carries the loose sand particles, and it scrape and polish the rocks, and this forms the different features. So basically we have to read how the wind helps to form the different landforms. First of all, we have to read in the continuity of the wind landform the oasis. So what is oasis? So oasis is a place that is where the water is found, and also it has a source of underground, and this oasis support the vegetation and the wild and the animal life as well. So there you can see in the picture, even you have seen in the different through the different medium about the oasis is what? It's a water surface, it's a water place where which is found in between the desert areas. So this oasis is help us to this provide us the water as well as a little amount of natural vegetation, and also it sustain the animal life in those areas. So oasis, the water here how it comes, it is underground water. So somewhere in the desert area the water is found in a very little amount, and it comes all of a sudden in particular area, and this creates the oasis, and oasis is very helpful. Okay, now the other thing that we have to read after the oasis is uh, the mushroom rocks. Mushroom rocks, you might have seen. You can here you can also observe in the picture that I have pasted in the slide, that at the time when the wind moves in the desert areas, and it carried the sand with it. So what is the work of sand in the desert area? It started scraping these rocks. Okay, wind does not blow at the higher altitude here, so because of that it blow in the lower altitude, and because of that the rocks the rocks which is the rocks get scraped at the downside of that particular rock, and the upper side of the rock it still remain in its form. So because of it the downside of the rock get eroded and the upper part does not. So because of it the upper part remains at the same shape and the lower part get eroded. So it's formed like a mushroom. There you can see in the picture, the upper part is not get eroded and the lower part is eroded at the maximum. So this is the mushroom rocks, and it is also known as the gore or the rock pedestal. So this is carved by the wind in the sandy areas or in the desert areas. Okay, now the next thing which is formed in the desert or the wind landform, that is the sand dunes. So sand dunes is what? Sand dunes are formed when the wind gusts that carry sediment in the air and deposited the grains of sand on the top of one another until a large hill structure is formed. So sand dunes is what? When sand started uh, uh, carrying the sediments with it, wind basically, wind started carrying the sediments with it and started depositing at one particular place, and it um, formed the mound of the sand, and that mound is known as the sand dunes. Okay, sand dunes are movable. Movable in the sense it moves whenever the wind, the force wind start. The again this sand dunes will, that the particles that are get deposited, they will again started moving from one place to another. And again when all the sand removed from that place and deposited at some place, that is they form the sand dunes. Okay, sand dunes are also are of the different shapes. So it's first is it has been mentioned in your in the book, that is the Barchin, the crescent shape. Crescent shape means it is like a moon shape. Moon crescent you have seen, the half curved. So the open side of the dune faces the direction of wind blowing, and the point of the crescent are directed downward. Forms on hard surface where the sand supply is limited. Okay, this Barchin dunes are formed on the hard surfaces basically, and there you can see in the picture, and the open side of the dune faces the direction wind blowing, means the open side where the wind blows in that direction. Okay, that is why this kind of dunes are formed in, and it is also known as the crescent shape or the Barchin dunes. Now the next dune is formed by it, that is the longitudinal or the safe dunes. So it is a large elongated dunes lying parallel to the prevailing winds and wind direction. That is longitudinal dunes usually have the symmetrical cross sections. There you can see it is a symmetrical, means it's a fixed pattern of the dunes are found, and they generally form in the area that are located behind the obstacle where the sand is abundant and the wind is constant and strong. Okay, when there is any object in between the desert, and because of that the air, when air moves, and they form the definite pattern or the symmetrical pattern, that kind of dunes are known as longitudinal dunes or the safe dunes. So these are some of the dunes which are formed by the winds in the desert areas. Now the next thing which is formed by the sand dune is the loess. So loess is what? It is when the wind blow the sand from from the desert to the far areas. When wind blow the sand from that desert to the far area and deposit it on the bank of the river or some place far, so that is from the loess. Example is Huanghe River, that is also known as Yellow River. It is yellow in color, and because the deposits that is done by the wind, these are in the fine grains, these are the fine grain sediments, and they form the fine grain sediment, that they are packed together and creating thick and unlayered yellow brown deposit. So whatever the sand that is uh, they blown from the desert area and they started depositing at far place, and that they form the loess, and these loess are very fertile. So there is a picture of Huanghe River that is found in China. It is the most extensive deposit of the loess that is found on the Loess Plateau of the Huanghe River Basin. So this is the another formation of the wind. Now, so we have read the almost the three major things that is formed by the wind. First one is the mushroom rock or the gore, and the another one sand dune, and the third one the loess. So these are the three things that is formed by the wind. And also the desert, in the desert we also found the oasis. So oasis is sometimes the when the sand blow from particular area where the water is available, so that water is visible, and that watery area is known as the oasis. Now, the next thing we have to read is that the marine landform. So, marine landform is what? It is a landform which is formed by the uh, formed in at the coast of the oceans. So, the whatever the landform that is formed by the sea or sea waves, current or tides, that is known as the marine landforms. So the main agent of gradation in the marine is they are the waves, current and tides that I had told. Okay. What are the waves? So waves are generated by wind blowing over the sea. The characteristic of the wave are determined by the strength of the wind, its duration and fetch, means the distance a wave travels. So basically the waves is a wind blowing over the sea. So these are different in the different shape and size, means they are the strong, or sometimes they have slow because of the movement of the wind. Also next one is that is helpful for the marine landform, that is current. So ocean currents are the continuous and predictable, means they can be predictable, and directional movement, they moves in the fixed direction of the sea water, driven by gravity. Okay, so currents are always driven by, means they are driven by, means they are move according to the gravity and the wind and the water density. Okay, the ocean water moves into two directions, that is horizontally and vertically, that currents. So we have to read also the about the current, how these currents help us to form the marine landforms. And also tides we have studied in the previous class as well. The moon gravity and sun gravity, they form the different types of tide, that uh, that is also helpful for the marine landform. So these are the agents of the marine landform. They help the marine landform to be created. Now there is a picture that I have mentioned in the slide. um, there you can see uh, the upper side, that is original shape of the headland. Okay, the brownish part, the grayish part you can see from the one end to the another end, that was the full rock. Okay, from the time, when the time passes, this rocks get eroded with the help of current, tides or waves. So they form the different structure. The first you can see the uh, headland, arc, then stack, and then stub, and sea caves. So these are the structure that we will read in the next slide separately. Now there is one more picture there, that is the headland. Headland means you can see the land which is already exist. And then bay is what, there you can see the bay is the place where it is surrounded by the water, surrounded by the land, means a water surface which is surrounded by the water. Sea arc, you can sea stack, you can see the sea stack. uh, After looking at picture, it seems like sea stack was the part of the headland, but due to the erosional work, the sea stack gets separated from the headland. Sea arc also you can see there. You can also see that the river the sorry the ocean flows from one gate to another gate. There you can see the sea arc. And the sea cave you know very well. The 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 ocean started eroding the down part of that particular mainland or the headland. It forms the cave like structure, that is the sea caves. Also sea cliff, you can see the height of the sea and the land, that is known as sea cliff. And beaches, you know very well, beaches are the coast of the oceans. Now let's start with the topic, that is the waves. So there you can see waves are there, and the waves, it is the most powerful agents of the marine action, and it is originated due to the sweeping of wind over the surface of water and gradually becomes the higher and swifter. So as they move toward the shore. So waves are the most powerful agents for the marine action, means they form the most of the marine landforms. And let's see what they create. The first thing that we have to see in that is the sea cliff. So sea cliff, I had explained, the sea cliff is the place where landform and water, there you can see the height, basically the height or the gap between the land and the ocean. There you can see in the picture the vertical height, basically the vertical height of the land and sea, it is known as the sea cliff. Okay, so the sea cliff is get changed by the waves. The sea cliff is the changed by the waves. They are also known as the wave cut terraces. Now bay. Bay is what? Bay is a place where the water that is surrounded by the lands, where the layers of hard rocks and soft rocks are found, and the softer one eroded by the waves. So as I explained in the previous also, that the softer rocks always been eroded by the water and hard rocks remain the same. So there you can see in the picture, in the above picture, that is the example of the bay, and that bay is formed by the water, where the softer rocks are eroded and the harder rocks still remain. Now the next is cape or the headland. So headland is what, or the cape is the harder rocks which remains by the erosion during the formation of the bay. During the formation of bay, the left hard rock is known as the capes. The left hard rock is known as the capes. And here in bay also, bay is what? The water, that area where the water is surrounded by the land. And cape is what? The land, the harder rocks which is remains left by the erosional work, that is known as the capes or the headlands. So these are the two things that is formed by the glacier marine landform. Sorry. Now next is beaches. So beaches is it is a common feature of the coastline, and it is a landform that is along with the water body, and it consists loose particles which often get composed of rocks such as sand, gravel, shingle, pebbles, and cobblestone. So basically whatever whatever the waves get whatever the waves brought during its movement, that all things are get deposited at the bank or at the coast, basically, of the oceans. That is form the beaches, the small particles, gravel, sand. So these all form the beaches of the ocean. So this is the another part, that another landform that is formed by the marine. Now next, spit. A spit is what? When the waves started depositing the its sand or the gravels before the mainland, Before the mainland means in the coast of that particular area, they started depositing. There you can see in the picture the small greenish and whitish part, and there is also a large land where the greenish part you can observe, the blue part is the ocean or the sea, and there you can see a small green or white layer. You can see that is the thing which is being deposited by the waves, and this spit, this is considered as the spit, and they are the part of the they are start after some time they become the part of the mainland. Means they get joined with the mainland, and they form the narrower shape of the deposited material, that is they are considered as the spit. Now when the spit uh, is uh, is joined to the mainland, that is considered as the bar. When the spit get joined, when the spit get joined to the mainland, it considered as the bar. So it is a ridge of sand and shingle which forms the across the mouth of the river and entrance of the bay or the harbor. It usually parallel to the coast. This is always almost the parallel to the coast. Okay, there you can see in the spit that is also part, but this is not that much parallel. But if you go to the bar, it is parallel to the beaches or the coast. So this is also this is also the deposition of this is also the deposition of sand and gravels that is brought by the waves to the coastal area. The next thing is that is the lagoons. Okay, when the spit or the bar, when the spit and the bar start the deposition, the work of river, the work of ocean is the deposition and erosion both, but that when it's do the deposition work, the deposition when deposition get started forming the shape of bar, you can see in the previous topic. So it is here joined with the one end, but when the bar is get joined at the both end to the mainland, when the bar get joined at the both end to the mainland, that forms the lagoons. So here the water get separated by the spit or the bar, and that water is known as lagoons or the backwaters. Okay, so this is also a landform that is created by the uh, by the marine landforms. So a lagoon is a water body that is separated by the larger water bodies by a natural barrier. So this natural barrier can be sandbars, barrier reefs, coral reefs, or the other natural barriers. So basically I explained that when this bar is connected with the one end, and this bar is again connected with the other end of the mainland, because of the depositional work of the river ocean, that forms the lagoons. And when the water is there present in those lagoons, it is known as the backwater or the canals. Now the next thing we have to read is the soil. Okay, you know very well soil is very important for us, and for the agriculture purposes, whether for the construction of house, whether the construction of road, and it in many ways the soil is being used. The most important thing that we use the soil as for the agriculture purposes. So here we have to see the different horizons of the soil, and basically different layers of the soil uh, that we on that place we are living. So here is uh, how the soil is being formed, that is also we have to see. One of the most important effects of the weathering and erosion is the formation of soil. So whatever the weathering and erosion work is done, so I told you that the bigger rocks uh, get eroded and weathered, and when it get deposited, till that they becomes the smaller part, and then smaller part convert deposited at layer by layer, and it forms the soil. So that we have to see. Okay, when the rock of the lithosphere break up and the layer of loose particle fragment regolith is formed. So the loose particle, or the that I had explained in the previous video, regolith is what? It's a soil, the small particles of the rocks that is formed by the form that is known as regolith. So this is formed by the erosion, or the erosion and the weathering process. Okay, the natural element of the climate together with the plant and animal help in decay of the regolith to form the soil. So these uh, um, the small stone or the small sands, it get converted into soil, but when the plant and animal, they started decaying in that regolith, and that forms the soil. Means the decomposition of the plant and animal led to the formation of the soil with in the regolith. Okay, the soil then is surface of the layer and earth consisting of particles formed by the breakdown of rocks, decayed organic material and living organism, along with the some water and air between the particles. Okay, so you know very well the soil has the different microorganism they are living in the soil, that help to uh, growth of a particular plant, or growth of that particular living things that they are present in the soil. So because of them, the soil get the fertility, as well as the it provide the growth of the plant in that soil. So first of all, we have to see the different horizons and the different layers of the soil. First of all, there you can see the horizon A, that is O horizon, A horizon, E horizon, B horizon, C, R. So these are the different horizon that we have to see. There you can see the two picture that I have pasted, that is the real picture of the horizons that you can observe, and the another one is uh, the demonstrating the soil layers. Now begin with the O horizon. So O horizon is the organic matter. So I in the previous topic that I will clear that the organic matter means the living or things, whether it is animal, whether it is plant, that decayed in the regolith, and after decaying in the regolith, that regolith converted into the soil. So its height is about 0 to 2 feet, means height in the means depth of the O horizon is about 2 feet. It is in the dark color, and it is in the soft texture. Also there it is found the humus. It is a rich organic material of the plant and animal origin in a stage of decomposition. So I explained that the decomposition of the plant and animals create the soil. Leaf litter means like whatever the leaves and other the plants, basically the plants remains, or the plant remains which is create the soil, that is also comes under the O horizon. Now the next horizon is A horizon. It is the topsoil or the biomental horizon. It is its depth is about 2 to 10 feet, and humus, here is also humus present. It is darker in the skin color, and it contains the earthworm, fungi, bacteria. So this is the layer where the fungi and earthworm and bacteria lives, and this is the smallest and finest soil particles are found in the A horizon. So O horizon is the topmost, and its depth is about 0 to 2 feet, and it is in dark color. It contains humus, and which is the animals and the plants remains. And in the A horizon it is about 2 to 10 feet, and it's in the dark color, and it also contains the earthworm, fungi, bacteria, more things, and they are the smallest and the finest soil particles. Now come to the E horizon. So E horizon is it's layer between A and B horizon, and its depth up to 10 to 15 feet. So it is 10 to 15 feet. It is the E horizon been found. It is light in color, and it is mainly sand and silt. So it is mainly sand and silt. So how there is sand and silt? Because the deposition of the gravels that is brought by the rivers. Also, it has a poor minerals and clay content due to the leaching, the loss of the water. Leaching is what? Loss of the water, and because of that, the plant does not get the nutrients from this horizon. Now, the soil particles larger than the A horizon, but they're smaller than the B horizon. So whatever the soil particles it is found in the A horizon, they are the bigger than the A horizon, but they are the smaller than the B horizon. The next horizon is B horizon. So this comes after the A horizon, that is found below the A horizon. That is also known as subsoil. Its depth is about 10 to 30 feet. They are rich in clay and minerals like iron and aluminum, and also they have the organic material may reach through the leaching. So whatever that is leached from the E horizon, that comes to the B horizon, so it makes the soil fertile. Also, some plant roots can extend up to this layer, means the roots of the plant they extend it up to the B horizon, means 10 to 30 feet. They are in red and brown color, because because of the oxides and the iron present in the subsoil or the B horizon. Now next is the C horizon. It is a regolith horizon. It is at the depth of 30 to 48 feet. It is made up of rocks and lumps, partially broken red bedrocks. So bedrock is what? It is the lowest one that we'll explain in the next slide. So when the little bit bigger rocks being found in this horizon, that is the C horizon, and uh, there is no organic matter in the C horizon. So it directly means that it does not fertile. Uh, it is not fertile like A horizon and the B horizon. The next one is the R horizon, bedrock horizon. It is also known as, it is a depth of 48 plus feet, and it is the deepest soil horizon in the soil profile. It has no rocks, no boulders, only continuous mass of bedrocks, means they are the most bigger rocks that is found on the earth surface. That is the R horizon, and the colors are those of the original rock of area, means that they are the in the original colors. They decided the color of the soil, means that whatever the bedrock is there, the parent rock is there, it is decide the color of the particular soil of the topmost soil. So there you can see the factor which is responsible for the formation of the soil, that is the parent material, climate, topography, organisms, time. So the first is the parent material. The parent material is the parent rock, basically. The that topic we have discussed, the R horizon. So R horizon is responsible for the color of the bedrock, means this is the things that is help for the that is made up of different chemical composition, and it is determine the mineral present in the soil and its texture. The next one is the climate. So everywhere the climate is not same, the temperature is different, and the amount of rainfall is different, So because of that, climate led to the formation of the different soils in the different areas. Also, physical fact features of the region, especially uh, the presence of rivers, slope of land, coastal location, these all things affect the topography of the particular area, the soil of the particular area. Organisms like the organic life, that including the vegetation and organism, that increase the humus content of and air in the soil. So in the first top layer I had explained that where the animals and plant is there, they their humus, whatever they decomposes in the soil, they provide, the organism provide the fertility of the soil. Where the organism is more, they provide the more fertile soil, and where the less, they provide the less fertile soil. And time, so it is the time, length of time that is taken in the formation, and like it determine the soil is developed or not, means that the time period is very important. The soil does not form in a month or in a week or in a year. Soil formed, it took more than 1,000 years to be formed for a particular area soil. So that is why the time is also very important. Okay, soil erosion is very important thing that we have to read. So how the soil erosion happens? Soil erosion happens because of the rain and the wind as well. So when the rain does not occurs, when the rain occurs in a large amount, so the soil get eroded from particular place, and they moves from that place, and that is the soil erosion, or the water is responsible. Again, water is also responsible. When there is no water, soil get dry, and when wind blow, and that also erode the soil from one particular place to another particular place. So also soil erosion, when we um, use the excess amount of water from particular area, so the humidity is not there, the humus or uh, the the soil is get dry, and because of that it also get eroded with the help of wind from one place to another. Also the plant is responsible. We started cutting down the plants, and we do not plant the trees, and because of that the soil is also get eroded, because the soil is responsible for holding the plant is responsible for holding the soil, and in whether the rain or the wind does not erode the soil. Now the soil conservation is also very important. So soil conservation can be stopped, can be done by checking on overgrazing. Suppose if the overgrazing is done, overgrazing means the when the goat or the green plant eaters, basically green plant eater animals eats the whole grass of particular land, so there is no thing to hold the soil, and because of that the soil erosion occurs. So we have to check on that, we have to make it stop, and other we have to make it in the sustainable way. Or afforestation is what? The planting of the trees, more and more trees. When we plant more and more trees, so it will create the it will grow, it will hold the soil and does not let the soil go or the erode the by using the good agriculture practices. So what is good agriculture practices? It directly means that the agriculture needs a large amount of water. When we do not gives the water to the soil, it does not grow anything. So for that we need to go do the counter plowing. Counter plowing is the way of plowing where the minimum amount of water it is being used. Terrace cultivation, it is done on the slopy areas, like in the mountainous areas where the use of water can be minimized. Crop rotation, when we grow a particular crop in particular soil for many period, for the long period, it retain it extract the same mineral, and because of that the minerals which is required in that particular soil, that can be uh, removed. So for that purpose we have to do the crop rotation. Crop rotation means growing one crop in the same season, and next year we have to grow the another crop. For that, the minerals that are present in the soil, that will get retained and that will remain. And sensible use of organic and inorganic fertilizers. We have to use the fertilizers in the good manner way, that we can protect our soil. Okay, now the homework is that you have to prepare the picture of the soil profile in your copy. Okay.